Hey there guys, welcome to this video. My name is Pushpinder Gill, and in this video we're going to continue our conversation with regards to discovering social media influencers. In the first two parts, I talked about the need for finding social media influencers using data. They need to be found. Social media influencers cannot be just selected on the basis of number of followers. In the last video, I talked about that social media influencers will be chosen based on your different marketing goals. I applied social network analysis, and I identified three different types of centralities, network centralities, which can be used to identify different kinds of influencers. So if you haven't watched those videos and if you landed on this video right away, I would recommend you to watch those first two parts because they're all interrelated with each other. So in the last video, I talked about social network analysis, and I said I will show you how can you apply social network analysis to actually calculate all the centralities, and using the centralities you can actually find different influencers. So I particularly use Stata to identify to run social network analysis. You can use other platforms as well, other statistical software such as R, or you can also use Python. If you want me to use all those other softwares and show it to you, I can do that for you. You can list it in the comment section, but I'm just going to go ahead and use it using Stata. So you can actually install a package called NW commands using this command in Stata which is NW install all. So that will actually install the NW commands package, and I'm actually going to show the package to you here, and here's the code. I will actually provide you with the link to the code in the video section. So for instance, I'm just gonna load a very simple graph here. So which is a very simple graph. So I just loaded the graph here. It actually loaded two different networks. So I'm actually just going to show you a network here. So for instance, you can look at a particular network. This is one particular network here. And in this network, our goal is to find an influencer. Well, you can find an influencer visually here because this is actually a small network. But what happens if your network looks like this, right? If your network looks like this, and by the way, I have generated this network using real data, and probably your customer network will actually going to look like this, or your influencer network is actually going to look like this, even more complicated. So then you have to calculate those numbers, and you have to use some kind of statistical software to actually calculate those numbers. Now let's go ahead and identify those centralities. So we talked about degree centrality, which is the extent to which a person has immediate connections. And if your goal is to spread information to as many people as possible, then you will actually use degree centrality. So here's a simple code for degree centrality, just 3 lines of code. If you actually just paste that code, it will actually give you which particular node has the highest degree centrality. So you would see that in this case, this particular individual or this particular family in this particular instance has the highest degree centrality. So if your goal is to pass down information to as many people as possible, then you'll actually choose this node as your influencer. Now, if you want to use closeness centrality, so this is the closeness centrality code, which actually identifies closeness centrality, basically measures, by the way, I've talked about this in the previous video in detail, but closeness centrality measures to what extent are you close to the whole network. So if your goal is to spread information fast, then you will actually choose someone with high level of closeness centrality. So here's the code, which is NW closeness, and you type the name of your network. So this is the name of the network that we have, and then you've got this is something that you use if your network is unconnected, as we saw in our particular network. our network was unconnected, I will actually just show it to you here. So just a second. It's marriage, so I can just show this particular network to you. It will actually show that our network is unconnected. There is a particular individual or a particular node which is not connected to any individual, or there is a gap between the network. So that's why you kind of write this particular instance there. And then I'm just sorting the closeness centrality, and I'm actually just listing the closeness centrality. So if you do that, you would find again that this particular node has the highest level of closeness centrality. So if your goal is to find an influencer to pass down information as quick as possible, which is something that we needed during COVID-19, then you will choose this influencer. Then the last one was betweenness centrality, which is the extent to which a node acts as a bridge between two other nodes. So which is basically a measure of control over information. So if your goal is to make sure that the information passes to every individual in the network or every node in the network, then you actually choose someone with high level of betweenness centrality. So here's the code for that, pretty similar code, and you press enter, and then that actually gives you that this particular family or this particular node has a high level of betweenness centrality, and that's something that you choose. So that's there. I can also show it to you using real data. So for instance, this is the Facebook data that I downloaded from Stanford database, and I actually use this data to generate this particular graph. This is a sample data, a randomly selected data out of it, because the data is pretty big. So you can do it for this particular instance as well. You can load the data, and then you can calculate the centralities, and that will actually tell you which influencer to choose. So in nutshell, in conclusion, I would say what are the key takeaways of these 3 video series that we've done. First of all is that influencer marketing can be a highly effective way of promotion. There is no debate about it. It's actually every company is now involved in some sort of influencer marketing. However, unlike celebrities, influencers are needed to be identified. They can be anywhere, especially if you're looking for micro influencers who do not have much of a following, but they are so uniquely situated in your customers' network that they hold important positions of influence. So how do you identify those influencers? Well, network centrality offers a solution. So if you have data about your customers, or if you have data about the influencers, how they're connected in the network of your customers, they can actually use network centrality and identify different types of influencers. And it is very, very easy to implement. It just takes 3 lines of code to calculate degree centrality, 3 lines of code to calculate closeness centrality, and it's the same for betweenness centrality. And all these 3 different types of centralities will offer you different types of influencers. They may all be the same, but the way they will perform will be different. If your goal is to pass down information as much as possible, then you'll use someone with high degree centrality. If your goal is to pass down information as quick as possible, then you will choose someone with closeness centrality. And if your goal is to reach the whole network, then you will use betweenness centrality. So that would be the end of this video series, guys. Thank you very much for watching this. I'll keep posting more content. You can tell me in the comment section what kind of content related to marketing you want me to post. I'll make sure that I'll provide you up-to-date and current information on marketing. Please subscribe for more content. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next.